Let's move on to the topic for now. Again, if you have a question for the five-time champ or myself, you can super chat them in at any time, and your question will be read on the show. You were talking about this forbidden door, which we've heard a lot about. Really, the first time I ever heard the term was a year ago. They started talking about the forbidden door. And there was a lot of talk about WWE working with New Japan, or will Tony Khan open the forbidden door and New Japan walk through it, or Ring of Honor and AEW working together. Well, the conversations continue as on Friday, the WWE on SmackDown started to reveal some of the names that are going to be in the 2022 Women's Royal Rumble.
Yep.
And one of those names was a surprise. I mean, a lot of them were surprised, but this one in particular, because the name that was revealed was Mickie James. Mickie James, if you remember last year, was released by WWE. And there was the whole kind of issue with her departure where she received some of her things in a trash bag or what have you. So it was kind of a controversial exit in some regard. She went over to NWA. She's now the Impact Knockouts champion of the world, and she retained that title over the weekend. So she's going to be walking into the Royal Rumble as the Impact Knockouts champion. And people are looking at this as the forbidden door from WWE has finally been cracked open, and they're going to start bringing more talent in from other companies to have, cross promotion. So that's what the conversation's been. Do you think this is a sign that that is happening? And how do you feel about it if so?
Well, it's the first time, I've seen it, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as a talent champion from another company, a company such as Impact Wrestling being a part of an event, Rumble, WrestleMania type. This is the first time I've ever seen it. So, yeah. But I think more importantly than anything, I think it's the perfect time for it. Someone like Mickie James, even though she's, on the other side, she's still a champion. Just think about, boxing, champions not, being able to, mix it up with certain champions just because of the promoters not wanting to get in bed with each other. Who's missing out on something like that? I think the fans are. And then Mickie James, she's not that far from WWE. So for her to actually be able to come in and mix it up and then do well, I think it does good for everybody. Not just from the women's side. We definitely got to talk about. We haven't seen any names for the men's side, but I'm definitely looking forward to see what kind of surprises we're going to get there, because there's a whole lot out there in the world today that could be benefited through WWE. I'm talking about from both sides. One thing about WWE television, you get on there, your pay rate go up.
Every time.
You know what I'm saying? So for a lot of these guys to be able to come to WWE and get the rub, and then you never know which ones may come to WWE and may actually fit in. And we go, wait a minute, we got something here. That's where I think it might be some kind of a controversy, a little bit, as far as, what if these guys come in and really, really do well and, want to actually, move over to the other side.
Yeah, I think that I'm less hopeful. I think that this is a sign of things to come. I did see that the rumor is they are trying to bring in a big name, or at least there's talk about a big name outside of WWE coming to the men's Royal Rumble. I've seen talk about it. No really names of who it could be or who would be a needle mover. I know Moose over there in WWE has talked about in Impact has talked about wanting to challenge Roman Reigns for this forbidden door. If I'm being honest, I think this is just an agreement of convenience. If you want to know really what I think that Mickie James is a name that the WWE audience will know and react to. And right now, they are very short on both brands of women who can actually be in the Rumble. I think that last time we talked about this a couple weeks ago, I felt like we read everybody who was on the women's roster, and it was only like 15 names, 16 names. So they needed to put somebody in this Rumble. And they threw the Bella Twins in there, which I'm excited to see them back. Michelle McCool, Summer Rae, a lot of names from the past. Lita is going to be in the Royal Rumble this year.
Yeah.
And so they're like, hey, let's call Mickie James. And I literally think it went like this. Let's call Mickie James. We know she's an Impact. So you call her.
No,
That's how I think it happened.
This is the way I look at it right now. As far as the Forbidden Door, aside of the not having enough women or anything like that, but I look at the Forbidden Door thing, someone like Mickie James coming over as I see it as a plus. I really do.
Oh, I do too.
I don't look at that as a bad thing or anything at all. I mean, and the reason why is because Impact Wrestling is not in the same place they were in 2005 through 10. Okay, they're just not. Impact Wrestling is almost like a developmental territory. It's it's a good place to be seen. But if you want to really make some real money, you're gonna have to go somewhere else. And that's no slight to Impact Wrestling or anything like that. Or if you just want to go and do some one-offs in WWE, which I really think could be beneficial for someone like Moose. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But I really think that could be beneficial to a lot of guys that's out there on the circuit right now, because look what the Nick Gage attention brought to AEW for a minute. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking from that perspective, that guy was there for a minute, but that minute he was there, it was some news around that match and what was going on. So it's a lot of guys out there that could be utilized and brought in to work with guys like Roman, guys like Bobby. That's not our regular guys on the roster, but people know them out there in the world. And then, just like I say, perhaps they do well. They may get a chance to move up to that next tier. So I think it's a good thing, and I really think it could work out. Like I say, especially if you're I don't think it could work out with AEW guys. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. But
right,
Impact guys, I think that ROH guys, formerly ROH, MLW guys, I think that kind of stuff could work out. Seriously.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
and guys, you know what I mean? I really think that could work out. I mean, if that could actually happen.
You say though, you just brought up AEW. You say that, and I'm thinking, well, why not though? Right? Because last year, now granted, it wasn't for a match or anything like that, but Chris Jericho did appear on WWE programming last year in the show with Steve Austin. Now, different format, different context, sure, but they were on the WWE network talking about AEW with an AEW contracted star. Really, the guy who AEW was built around, especially in the early stages, Chris Jericho. I could see Chris Jericho being in the Royal Rumble. That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it'd be surprising, but I wouldn't be floored by it. I think that's possible.
Look, anything's possible. Anything's possible. I'm not going to sit here and say, nah, that's not going to happen. And anything Jericho show up at the Rumble and I got egg all over my face. I'm not going to do that. But I don't foresee that happening with a company like AEW, just because AEW right now is, claiming to be the WCW to WWE at this point. And it's not about actually working with each other. Okay, if I need some stuff from the archives, we can make a deal on that. Yeah, that kind of stuff I see. But as far as swapping talent from WWE to AEW right now, I don't see that happening in the near future at all. But like I say, other companies out there, like I say, we're going to talk about W. Morrissey. There's other guys out there that are definitely somewhat like free agents, able to work in other places. If certain factors come to play. So I see certain guys doing certain things. But I don't see them being AEW guys. I just don't.
But it only if it makes sense, right? Because back in the day when Flair and the Four Horsemen were getting inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame, Flair was under contract with TNA. And so they made a deal. You give us Flair for the Hall of Fame, we'll give you Christian for a night, right? And they sent Christian Cage to Impact to work a show.
Hey,
So if
look
it
here.
makes sense for both sides,
I'm not saying
it can happen.
I'm not saying it's out of the question or anything like that. But I don't expect people to see MJF in WWE anytime soon.
Unless he's under a WWE contract.
Exactly. I'm just saying. I don't see that happening anytime soon. But I could be wrong. But the Forbidden Door, me personally, I like it.